Learning outcomes. After studying this module, you shall be able to understand different perspectives of human development, issues of similarity and differences between various perspectives, gain an understanding about different domains of development across lives. Introduction. Theoretical perspectives on human development can be studied from various perspectives. Each perspective depicts physical, social, cognitive, and emotional development of an individual throughout lifespan. First of all, we'll talk about the psychoanalytical theories. Freud's psychosexual stages of development. Under this, Freud believed that there are three main structures to personality: id, ego, and superego. The id is the part of the personality with which a child is born. It consists of impulses, emotions, and desires. Id demands are impractical and demands instant gratification of its desires. To keep the id into check, ego develops. Ego is practical aspect of the personality and mediates between the desires of id and the reality. Superego is the final structure of personality, and it is the bearer of the sense of duty and responsibility. Ego maintains the balance between id and superego. Ego and superego develops as individual progresses through psychosexual stages of development. Freud has given the psychosexual stages of development as oral stage between 0 to 2 years, anal stage between 2 to 3 years, phallic stage between 3 to 7 years, latency stage 7 to 11 years, and genital stage 11 years to adulthood. And he says that if there is any problem at any one of the stages, that fixation will later lead to the problems in the personality of the person. Then we come to Erikson's psychosocial theory. Erikson emphasized that development happens throughout lifespan. He highlighted stages of development of healthy personality. Children's personalities develop in response to their social environment. The same is true of their skills for social interaction. Erikson's proposal of 8 stages of development is very well known. Each stage is characterized by a social conflict. Social and personal resolution of the conflict is mandatory to ascend to the next stage. Stage 1 is trust versus mistrust. During the first 18 months of life, trust develops. Depending upon their interaction with the external environment, infant either learns to trust or mistrust the environment. When distressed, if they are comforted and have a loving, warm and nourishing environment, then they develop a sense of confidence that the world is safe. Whereas interaction with an inconsistent and unpredictable environment develops a sense of mistrust in an infant. Stage 2, autonomy versus shame and doubt. Between 18 months and 3 years of age, toddler gains self-control and starts to become self-sufficient by using their new motor and mental skills. They begin to experience their own body and practice their developing language skills and locomotor skills and achieve independence in choosing and deciding for themselves. A supportive environment for performing routine activities like toileting, dressing and eating results in autonomy, whereas overprotection or lack of adequate activities results in self-doubt and shame. Stage 3, initiative versus guilt. Between 3 and 5 years of age, child has developed several skills and is ready to learn to deal with the environment constructively. They also discover how the world works and also realizes their capacity to have an effect on the world. They face new challenges, master new tasks, and aided by strong initiative, they develop a sense of accomplishment and purpose. Whereas discouragement and criticism at this stage develops a sense of incompetence in the child. Stage 4, industry versus inferiority. This stage between 6 and 12 years of age is characterized by major crisis. Through planning and executing projects, they learn society's rules and expectations. Approval of child's developing intellectual skills of the people around affects their future development. Realistic expectation and goals at this stage leads to an enriched sense of self, whereas criticism, discouragement or unrealistic expectation leads to feeling of incompetence and insecurity. Stage 5. Identity versus role confusion. This stage of early adolescence is characterized by rapid body growth and sexual maturation. Peer acceptance takes central space during this stage, and frequent conflict arises due to inconsistent opinions of peers and society. Adolescent begins to develop a sense of identity by making role models and gradually moving into the society as contributing member. Success at this stage leads to a strong sense of identity, whereas failure and unsuccessful experiences continue a sense of role confusion. Stage 6. Intimacy versus isolation. This stage of late adolescence, according to Erikson, is crucial because individual accepts himself or herself and goes on to accept others by fusing his or her personality with others. Individual begins to fully participate in society and associate with people through work, sports, etc. These positive associations develop a sense of intimacy, whereas failure to develop relationships lead to a sense of isolation. Stage 7. Generativity versus self-absorption. At this stage of adulthood, an individual focuses on providing the wisdom, virtues, joys and skills accumulated to the next generation and shows more interest in the next generation that his own problems are there. Failure at this stage leads to inability to accept one's declining mental and physical state as middle age approaches. Stage 8. Integrity versus despair. Stage ranging from mature, adult and old age, and most important event at this stage is coming to accept one's whole life and reflecting on that life in a positive manner. According to Erikson, achieving a sense of integrity means fully accepting oneself and coming to terms with the death. Accepting responsibility for your life and being able to undo the past and achieve satisfaction with self is essential. The inability to do this results in a feeling of despair. Stages of psychosexual development are present in the table given alongside, where these stages have been given. The next theory is cognitive theory. Piaget's theory of cognitive development was given by Jean Piaget, a Swiss psychologist, provided key concepts in the field of developmental psychology and cognitive psychology. Piaget highlighted that cognitive development occurs through three interrelated processes: organization, adaptation and equilibration, which permeates through all stages of development. From infancy onwards, we make sense of the world through mental representation of the world. Mental representations consist of cognitive structure called schemas. It is through schemas that we make sense of the world outside. Every human moves through 4 different stages of development, each of which is characterized by different ways of thinking. These stages are the sensory motor stage of infancy, the pre-operational stage of early childhood, the concrete operation stage of middle childhood, and the formal operation stage of adolescence and beyond. Cognitive development has been shown in the form of a table. Now, different stages and period of development are also shown in the form of a table, where it has been shown that at the sensory motor stage, which is from birth to 2 years, development from helpless newborn to a thinking toddler, infants use all their senses to explore the external world. Physical actions like sucking, rasping and hitting also help babies to make sense of the world. Sensory development and physical development gives way to cognitive development. Child also learns that the concept of object permanence, that is, object continues to exist even if it goes out of sight. The second stage is pre-operational stage, between 2 to 7 years of age. It is characterized by child's egocentrism, that is, others also see the world as they see. Representation skills like language, drawing and symbolic play develop, but the thinking is still illogical. Children also learn the concept of conservation. With the change in physical appearance of an object, it quantifies doesn't change, and classification, that is ability to sort object into groups and arrange in order. Another stage is concrete operational stage, which is between 7 to 11 years. It is characterized by development of logical thinking. Although thinking is still dependent on the concrete material, when real situations are presented, they are beginning to understand others' point of view. The next stage is formal operational, that is 11 years and older, which is characterized by development of abstract thinking. Children learn to solve problems in their head. So these stages were given by Piaget on cognitive development. Vygotsky came with the socio-cultural theory, and he believed that children learn through experience. Social and cultural interaction with parents, peers and others help children learn customs, values, beliefs and language of their culture. Vygotsky introduced the concept of private speech or self-talk. He believed that language is a very important role in cognitive development. After developing language, children engage in self-talk to help them guide their activity and develop thinking. Initially, language and thought develop independently, but they gradually merge and change over time. He believed that there exists a gap between what a child knows and what can be taught. At a particular stage, child achieves a temporary maximum, but a little beyond that point lies zone of proximal development, that is, certain ideas or problems that are a little too difficult for the child to handle on its own and require adult assistance. Adults and parents' scaffolding of child's behavior is vital to overall development of the child. Then we come to the contextual theory. Here we talk about Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory of development. Bronfenbrenner defined the ecology of human development as the scientific study of the progressive mutual accommodation between an active, growing human being and the changing properties of the immediate settings in which the developing person lives, as this process is affected by relations between those settings and by the larger context in which the settings are embedded. Bronfenbrenner emphasized the role of environment in human development. However, he illustrated that it's not the objective environment settings that influences the individual behavior and development, but individual subjective interpretation of that environment. It is one's perception of his roles, relations and responsibility that guide an individual behavior in a given setting. Various environmental contexts illustrated by Bronfenbrenner are microsystem, one's family, school, neighborhood and peers; the mesosystem, interaction among various microsystems; the exosystem, social settings in which the individual does not play an active role but is affected by its decisions; and the macrosystem, the culture in which one exists; and lastly the chronosystem, the socio-historical events of one's life. To summarize these theoretical perspectives of human development, it is obvious that development of the organism throughout all aspects of its development is moving from comparatively simple to more complex and sophisticated levels of development. Psychoanalytic perspective of human development asserts Freud's psychosexual stages of development. Freud believed that there are three main structures of personality: id, ego and the superego. Erikson's psychosocial theory, Erikson emphasized that development happens throughout lifespan. He highlighted 8 stages of development of healthy personality. Cognitive theory was given by Piaget, who focused on cognitive development and highlighted that cognitive development occurs through three interrelated processes: organization, adaptation, equilibration. Socio-cultural theory was given by Vygotsky, who believed that children learn through experience. He introduced the concept of private speech or self-talk. He believed that language is a very important role in cognitive development. Contextual theory was given by Bronfenbrenner's ecological theory of development. Bronfenbrenner defined the ecology of human development and offered newer perspectives on development and are particularly relevant to the study of motor behavior.
After studying this module, we shall be able to understand different meanings of development, learn the principles that guide the study of development, understand important concepts and key issues within the contemporary study of human development. Lifespan developmental psychology is the field of psychology which involves the examination of both constancy and change in human behavior across the entire lifespan, that is, from conception to death. Developmental change may occur as a result of genetic or environmental factors and learning, but most commonly involves an interaction between the two. Developmental psychologists are concerned with diverse issues ranging from the growth of motor skills in the infant to the gains and losses observed in the intellectual functioning of the elderly. The goal of study in developmental psychology is developing a knowledge of the general principles of development and the differences and similarities in development across individuals. The most commonly used definition refers to development as a pattern of change over time which begin at conception and continue throughout the lifespan. The study of development is interdisciplinary. Development occurs in different domains. First, physical development. It involves changes in body size, proportions, appearances, and the functioning of various body systems. Brain development, perceptual and motor capacities, and physical health. Second, cognitive development. It involves development of a wide variety of thought processes such as intellectual abilities, including attention, memory, academic, and everyday knowledge, problem solving, imagination, creativity, and the unique human capacity to represent the world through language. Third, emotional and social development. It involves development of emotional communication, self understanding, ability to manage one's feelings, knowledge about other people, interpersonal skills, friendships, intimate relationships, and moral reasoning and behavior. Baltz in 1987 outlined a set of principles for study of human development within a lifespan framework, which are as follows. First, development is lifelong. Development extends across the entire lifespan and may involve processes which are not present at birth but emerge throughout the lifespan. Development is multidimensional. The principle of multidimensionality maintains that there is no single normal path that development must or should take. Third, development is multidirectional. It is often comprised of multiple abilities which take different directions, showing different types of change or constancy. Fourth, development is the belief that it involves both gains and losses. Any development process involves aspects of growth and decline. These two aspects of growth and decline need not occur in equal strength, and moreover, the balance between gains and losses can change with time. Fifth, development is plastic. Plasticity refers to the within person variability which is possible for a particular behavior or development. A key part of the research agenda in developmental psychology is to understand the nature and the limits of plasticity in various domains of functioning. Sixth, development is situated in context and in history. Development varies across the different contexts in which we live our lives. Seventh, developmental psychology is multidisciplinary. That is, the source of age related changes do not lie within the province of any one discipline. Contextual changes are explained by three-factor model. First, normative age-graded influences are the biological and environmental influences that are similar for individuals in a particular age group. Second, normative history-graded influences are biological and environmental influences associated with historical periods in time which influence people of particular generation. Third, non-normative life events are unusual occurrences that are significant, unpredictable, unexpected, and which have a major impact on an individual's life. A number of major themes have emerged in the study of development which are recurrent across the various domains. These are continuity versus discontinuity, stability versus change, nature versus nurture. Those who believe in development is continuous assert that continuous development proceeds in a smooth and orderly fashion, with each change building on previous abilities and gradual accumulation of a behavior, skill, or knowledge. Discontinuous behavior or skills often change qualitatively across time, and that new organizations of behaviors, skills, or knowledge emerge in a rather abrupt or discrete fashion. Central to the discontinuous views of development is the idea that development involves discrete stages. An individual must accomplish one task at every stage before progressing to the next stage. The second issue is whether development is stable or changes over time. Research suggests that children have often revealed impressive stability over time in aspects of development such as the attachment bond to their parents or in personality. Research on children's temperament by Thomas N. Chess in 1977 raises the possibility that our inherited predispositions to react emotionally in certain ways can be altered by our environment, particularly by the attitudes and behaviors of the caregivers. An important aspect of the debate on stability versus change has to do with the degree to which early experiences play a formative role in our later development. In Freud's view, how we resolve our sexual and aggressive urges is strongly tied to the nature of our personality as adults. Similarly, Erikson believed that how we dealt with key issues such as the development of a warm, caring relationship with our parents or the ability to think and act autonomously were important determinants of later developments. The third important theme in the study of development is the role of biology and environment. Concerns with the relative degree to which heredity and learning affect functioning has generated the most controversy by far. Nature refers to the position that our genetic inheritance through the process of heredity is the primary influence on development. In contrast, nurture refers to the position that the environment, broadly constructed as a children's experience, including parenting, education, learning, cultural influences, are primarily responsible for development. According to Jessel, our genetic heritage specifies the set of biological processes which determine the patterns of growth that we observe, which he referred to as maturation. Watson believed that genetic factors placed no limits on how environments could shape the course of child's development. Let us summarize what we have learned. Developmental psychology is the scientific study of changes that occur in human beings over the course of their life. The field includes development over lifespan, from infancy to adolescence, adult development, and aging. This field examines change across a broad range of topics, including motor skills and other psychophysiological processes, cognitive development involving areas such as problem solving, moral understanding, and conceptual understanding, language acquisition, social, personality, and emotional development, and identity formation. Developmental psychology examines issues such as the extent of development through gradual accumulation of knowledge versus stage like development, and the extent to which children are born with innate mental structures versus learning through experience.